there's still niggers in American Army uniforms kissing.
It was said without thinking, painting an entire race with a single word. But it wasn't always a slur. Originally, the Latin niger just meant black.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, nigger.
But at the dawn of America, niger became negar to describe some of the first shipments of African slaves.
What's your name?
Kunta Kinte. My name is Toby.
Hi. That's a good nigger.
And with slavery, the word was contorted into its current, dark, degrading, hateful insult for African Americans.
We are the Ku Klux Klan. We hate niggers.
Look out, nigger! The Klan is getting bigger.
Over time, it has appeared in everything from ugly propaganda to cartoons to nursery rhymes. Eeny meeny didn't always end with catch a tiger by the toe. It was tossed about casually in movies well into the 20th century, part of the way of life, but also sometimes to raise consciousness.
You nigger lover.
And in the civil rights era, the stigma came to a head. Author James Baldwin, in the 1963 documentary Take This Hammer.
We have invented the nigger. I didn't invent him. White people invented him.
In the 1970s emerged a new willingness to explore the impact of the word and even satirize it.
And isn't it a lovely morning?
Up yours, nigger.
If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you...
Don't say it.
Nigger.
He said it.
It hardly disappeared in the 1980s and 90s, though white people rarely said the word publicly. Some black people did, a lot.
It's black people, and there's niggers. The niggers have got to go.
Straight out of Compton, crazy named Ice Cube. From the gang called Niggas with Attitudes. Cause I never hesitate to put a nigga on his back.
As a society, we've tried to ignore it, ban it, literally bury it.
The NAACP held this symbolic funeral for the N-word.
And we've perhaps added more gravity to the word just by refusing to say it.
Whenever a white lady on CNN with nice hair says the N-word, that's just white people getting away with saying nigger. That's all that is.
Well, the N-word is one of the most contentious in the English language. Special correspondent Charlene Hunter-Gault explores its origins and use with Harvard Law School professor Randall Kennedy. It's part of our year-long Race Matters Solution series.
Professor Kennedy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I don't have to tell you, we're dealing with a very contentious word, but it wasn't always that way. So take us back when it was more benign.
It's like many words. It has a mysterious, it sort of rises from the midst. So, for instance, in 1619, when there are reports about the first blacks brought to British North America, they are referred to as Nigguhs. Well, it doesn't seem that that was meant in a derogatory way. It seems merely descriptive.
When did it become the kind of word that is so controversial today?
Go back and take a look at what some black writers were saying in the 1820s, the 1830s. They make mention of how white people would tell their children, if you don't behave, we're going to put you in the nigger seat. If you don't behave, we're going to make you sit with the niggers. That's why we know that by then the word had become a slur.
So why are people like, very successful popular comedian like Larry Wilmore, who addressed the president with the word at the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
So, Mr. President, I'm going to keep it 100. Yo, Barry, you did it, my nigga.
But also a lot of the rappers and people, what don't they know? I mean, they're using it almost as a term of endearment.
The infamy of nigger is a word that has been used to terrorize people, to put people down. But it has also been used in other ways. It's also been used as a way of putting a mirror up to racism. So Dick Gregory titled his first memoir, Nigger, an autobiography. Richard Pryor had a number of albums. That Nigger's Crazy, Bicentennial Nigger. Is he using nigger to put black people down? No, he's using it ironically. He's sometimes using it playfully. He's using it often as a mirror to shame racism.
And I don't want them hip white people coming at me calling me no nigger or telling me nigger jokes. I don't like it.
Then you've got people who have the idea of taking nigger back. So you have some people who say, well, nigger has been used to put us down. What we're going to do is grab this word and we're going to use it for our own purposes.
But do they know the history of it?
Well, one of the reasons I wrote a book about this was because I got the sense that there were, especially young people, who were using the word who did not have an understanding of the history behind the word. So I spent 40 pages just giving instance after instance after instance of the way in which this word has been used to hurt black people.
Mm-hmm. Hasn't it also been used against other ethnic groups, Chinese, Mormons, Jews?
It's the atomic bomb of racial slurs. It is the racial slur that has been used in other contexts. So, for instance, Palestinians, the niggers of the Middle East. The Irish, the niggers of Europe. This is a term that has been generalized around the world. If you want to put somebody down, analogize them to the nigger.
Given the power of this particular word that we're discussing, the power of it to wound, what is the solution to that?
I don't think there is a solution other than education. People ought to know that even if you were using the word without malevolence, even if you are attempting to use the word in an ironic way or as in a term of endearment, there's always the problem of mistake. So I've gotten hundreds of emails over the years from white kids who say the following. I'm riding around with my black friends and we're listening to rap. Is it okay if I say nigger because we're shouting the lyrics of these rap songs? And I say to people often, It may very well be that you're with your friend. It may very well be that you have no bad intentions. But if you're out in public, and especially if you're white and you use this word, there's the problem of the person who's right next to you who doesn't know you at all, who doesn't know what your intentions are, who doesn't know about your friendship with your black buddy over here. But as soon as the word nigger comes out of your mouth, this person slaps you, or worse. Simple prudence would dictate that you use this term very carefully, if ever.
Some of these younger people using it are not using the full word. They're abbreviating it.
There's some people who make a big distinction between nigga, which they say is okay, and nigger. Now, in my view, it's important to know about that distinction because some people put a lot of weight on it. I don't.
So how should people who find it so offensive and who understand the hurt associated with it respond?
What people should do is explain to their friends, to their neighbors, how they feel when they confront the word nigger and why they feel the way they feel. So a number of years ago, I was in a bookstore talking about my book, Nigger. And a man said to me, "Professor, I've heard all that you've had to say, and all of your analysis about why it is that sometimes nigger should be tolerated. I've heard it, but I'm going to tell you something. When I hear the word nigger, I remember when that word was used by people who would not allow me to vote and who put me at the back of the bus. And when I hear that word, that's what I think about." That was very powerful.
Absolutely.
That was very powerful. And what I said to him was, "Sir, I understand. I understand why you do not want to hear this word." And I think that people are going to have to talk with one another and share these stories and share these feelings. And I think that that's the only way in which we're going to come to a higher, a deeper understanding of why people have the feelings they have with respect to this, the infamous N-word.
Well, Professor Randall Kennedy, I'm sure you're going to get some reactions to this, but thank you for joining us and being as honest as you've been.
Thank you.
I'm very interested to know your thoughts on the answer to that question. Is this America what you saw?
Well, thank you for your question. I said this, I've done a few interviews before about what my experiences that day, and I said that it was a war that we fought, and a war is composed of a bunch of different battles. And everybody, even sitting at this table, fought a different battle that day, but it was all for the same war. And as Black officers, I believe we fought a different battle also. And the fact that we had our race attacked and just because of the way we look, to answer your question, frankly, I guess it is America. It shouldn't be, but I guess that's the way that things are. I don't condone it. I don't like it. But, I mean, if you look at our history, of American history, countries existed because they won a war, or colonies and state lines and boundaries exist because of violence and wars. So I guess it sounds silly, but I guess it is American. And but it's not the side of America that I like. It's not the side of that any of us here represent. We represent the good side of America, the people that actually believe in decency and human decency, and we appeal to just the good in people. That's what we want to see, whether we disagree with how they vote on a bill about infrastructure. Everybody wants the right thing, people to do okay. So that's why I'm glad to see this committee composed of Republican members also. So that's encouraging. It's encouraging. So that's the side of America that I say, yes, this is America. This is the side that I like and the side that I acknowledge. So,
Officer, thank you. I believe in this country, and I believe in it because of people like you who understand what the flag means and what our Constitution means and risk their lives to defend it. I'd like to think, as Amanda Gorman so eloquently said, that we're not broken, we're just unfinished. Because if we're no longer committed to a peaceful transfer of power after our elections, if our side doesn't win, then God help us. If we deem elections illegitimate merely because they didn't go our way rather than trying to do better the next time, then God help us. And if we're so driven by bigotry and hate that we attack our fellow citizens as traitors, if they're born in another country or they don't look like us, and God help us.
Northwestern had this concert with Lil Uzi Vert. He uses the N-word profusely, like a ton, and there was an email sent out to students who went to this concert saying, you don't have a right to use this word, which I 100% agree with. Like, as a white person, I don't have any right. I haven't, until reparations are paid, until there's some sort of giving back, there's no right. But what do you say to, I don't know what to do when I hear my friends using this word in a song. I don't know what to do when it's all the time.
Words don't have meaning without context, okay? My wife refers to me as honey. That's accepted and okay between us. If we were walking down the street together and a strange woman referred to me as honey, that wouldn't be acceptable. The understanding is I have some sort of relationship with my wife. Hopefully I have no relationship with this strange woman. When I was young and I used to go see my family in Philadelphia where my dad was from, they will all call him Billy. His name is William Paul Coates. No one in Baltimore called him Billy, and had I referred to my father as Billy, that probably would have been a problem. That's because the relationship between myself and my dad is not the same as the relationship between my dad and his mother and his sisters who he grew up with, right? We understand that. It's the same thing with words within the African American community or within any community. My wife, with her girlfriend, will use the word bitch. I do not join in. I don't, say, hey, I don't do that. I don't do that. And perhaps more importantly, I don't have a desire to do it. You understand? A while ago, Dan Savage was going to have this show that he was going to call Hey Faggot. I'm not going to yell faggot at Dan Savage. That's not my relationship with the LGBT community. And I understand that, and I'm okay with that. I don't have a desire to, yell out the word, faggot. I just don't have that. The question one must ask, if that's accepted and normal for groups of people, we understand that, it's normal, actually, for groups to use words that are derogatory in an ironic fashion. Why is there so much hand-wringing when black people do it? Black people are basically, however you feel about it, they're not outside of the normal rules and laws for humanity. I had a good friend who used to have this cabin in upstate New York, which he referred to as the white trash cabin. He was white. I would never refer to that cabin. I would never tell him I'm coming to your white trash cabin. I just wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? I think you understand why I wouldn't do it. The question one must ask is why so many white people have difficulty extending things that are basic laws, of how human beings interact to black people. And I think I know why. When you're white in this country, you're taught that everything belongs to you. You think you had a right to everything. You had a right to go where you, you're conditioned this way. It's not, because your hair is a texture or your skin is light. It's the fact that the laws and the culture tell you this. You had a right to go where you want to go, do what you want to do, be however, and people just got to accommodate themselves to you. So here comes this word that, you feel like you invented. And now somebody will tell you how to use the word that you invented. Why can't I use it? Everyone else gets to use it. You know what? That's racism that I don't get to use it. That's racist against me. I have to inconvenience myself and hear this song and I can't sing along? How come I can't sing along? You know what I mean? And I think, for white people, I think the experience of being a hip-hop fan and not being able to use the word nigga is actually very, very insightful. It will give you just a little peek into the world of what it means to be black. Because to be black is to walk through the world and watch people doing things that you cannot do, that you can't join in and do, And so I think there's actually a lot to be learned from refraining.